There's something stirring in the unseen. A reunion that hasn't yet made its way into your daily reality is unfolding behind the veil of the visible. You might not have all the pieces right now. You might not understand why certain people left, why connections faded, or why silence replaced what once felt so alive. But the truth is, when it seems like nothing is happening, that's often when the divine is orchestrating the most meaningful shifts. There is something sacred about the waiting season. It's not emptiness, it's preparation, it's alignment. It's the sacred pause before the beautiful re-entry of someone or something important into your life. God isn't idle. He is preparing the exact circumstances, the softened hearts, the healed wounds, and the perfect timing for the reunion your soul has longed for, even if your mind has buried that hope. Before we dive deeper, I want to invite you to watch this video until the end. If this message is awakening something in your heart, I encourage you to leave a comment with your warmest wishes and the number 77. Let your wishes speak life into the universe. Let them echo into the divine space where miracles are born and where time bends for faith. This might be the chapter where things start coming together for you in ways you could never have expected. When it comes to reunions, we often think of reconnections with people, friends, soulmates, family. But divine reunions go beyond just physical interactions. They're moments when our paths cross again with truths, dreams, and parts of ourselves we thought were lost or left behind. Sometimes, God separates to strengthen. He distances to develop. And in doing so, He brings about deeper wholeness, so that when the reunion finally happens, it doesn't collapse under the weight of past pain. Instead, it stands strong on the foundation of renewal. NSO, if you've been feeling like you're in between who you were and who you're becoming, between relationships past and connections to come, know that this space is holy. Know that God sees it. He honors your patience. And while you might feel forgotten, overlooked, or emotionally abandoned, the truth is, your presence is being preserved for something sacred. You haven't been pushed aside. You've been held in preparation. NNOT, all reunions will come wrapped in joy at first. Some might come with a wave of emotions, grief, memories, guilt, longing. But those too are part of the healing. Because a divine reunion doesn't just bring someone or something back into your life. It brings clarity, understanding, and most of all, completion. God never sends you back into old chapters unless they've been rewritten. If you're being led to reconnect with someone, with a vision, or with your own peace, it's because the time is ripe. And even when you can't see the progress, trust that there's motion. Your prayers, your tears, your moments of surrender, they've been adding up. Energy never disappears. What you've poured into the universe, with love, with grace, with quiet endurance, it's being returned. But not just returned randomly, returned in divine order, with divine hands guiding it. You don't need to chase what's meant for you. What's truly yours doesn't drift away forever. It circles back when the soul is ready. And sometimes, readiness looks like stillness, silence, and solitude. You may be tempted to let go of hope because things feel like they're at a standstill. But don't confuse silence with absence. Don't confuse the unknown with emptiness. God works in layers, in timelines, in divine blueprints that we may never fully comprehend in the moment. What appears delayed is often being delicately perfected. You're not being denied. You're being realigned. It's hard to trust what you can't see, especially when life has taught you that promises are often broken and connections are easily discarded. But this isn't human effort. This isn't wishful thinking. This is something higher than logic. This is the kind of preparation that only divine wisdom can undertake. It's like a seed planted in the dark. You can't see the roots forming, but one day something breaks through the soil and reminds you that life was growing the whole time. Many people feel that if someone was meant to be in their lives, they would have stayed. But sometimes, people need to leave in order to return differently. Sometimes love needs space to mature. Sometimes friendships need distance to develop perspective. And sometimes, it's not about the other person changing. It's about you becoming who you needed to be in the first place. Not every reunion is about picking up where things left off. Some are about starting anew, with old souls in new skins, with older hearts that now understand what they once overlooked. NIF, you're sensing that something is shifting. Even subtly, it probably is. Maybe they've started dreaming about you again. Maybe your name is on their heart in quiet moments. Maybe they're feeling drawn to revisit the story you both shared. Or maybe the reunion isn't with a person at all. Maybe it's with a piece of you that you gave away too quickly. The bold, soft, loving version of you that used to see the world with wonder. God is calling you back to yourself as much as He is calling others back to you. And if you feel exhausted in the waiting, take heart. God didn't ask you to carry the entire reunion. He just asked you to stay open, to keep the flame alive in your spirit without burning out your peace. You are not the one pulling the strings here. The divine has already written the sequence, and your only role is to stay in alignment, not in anxiety. Stay grounded in faith, not frantic in doubt. People come and go, yes. But when something is divinely woven, it's never truly lost. It's held. Held in grace. Held in a place where no bitterness can decay it, and no time can destroy it. The soul remembers even when the mind forgets. You might pass each other in a crowd again someday, or maybe a message will come through out of nowhere. It won't be a coincidence. It'll be the thread that never broke, only stretched, until now. NTHE reunion you're waiting for might not be instant. It might not be easy, but it will be worth it. Because this time, it won't be based on fear, lack, or desperation. It will be built on purpose, truth, and divine timing. You'll see how all the broken paths were actually aligning to lead you back to this. Not to the same version of the story, but a refined one. One where you both recognize the growth. One where you both come in peace, not in pieces. You don't have to worry about missing it. What's meant for your soul will always find a way. Even if it takes years. Even if it arrives when you've almost given up. The universe, in its mysterious wisdom, never forgets what's divinely assigned. Your heart might have moved on at the surface, but your spirit knows what still echoes beneath. And when the time comes, you'll feel it, not in your mind, but deep in your bones. A quiet knowing, a breath of recognition. And this is not the end of your story. This is the chapter where things begin to unfold behind the scenes, where preparations are made without your input, and alignments are drawn without your awareness. All you need to do is trust that if you've been called to this message, it's because something sacred is forming, something your heart will understand when it finally arrives. And when it does, you'll realize it wasn't luck. It was love, wrapped in divine intention. You felt it in quiet moments, an inexplicable pull, a sense that something is making its way toward you. Maybe you've shrugged it off, told yourself it's just your imagination or a memory resurfacing. But that feeling isn't random. It's a soft signal from the divine that something sacred is in motion. Reunions of the soul aren't always loud. They begin as whispers in the stillness, Something within you begins to stir before anything outside of you changes. You may not have proof, but the knowing is real. It vibrates in your energy. It moves in your spirit before it ever touches your physical world. NWE often wait for signs. We look for numbers, dreams, synchronicities, something to validate that our hope isn't in vain. And while those signs do come, the greatest evidence is the change that's been taking place within you. You're not the same person you were when the separation happened. Your understanding is deeper. Your heart is softer. You've been shaped by the waiting season in ways that will allow you to handle the reunion with far more grace and wisdom than before. Sometimes God allows the delay so the return won't bring the same old wounds. You're not being denied love, connection, or reconciliation. You're being made ready for the version that will last. There is a spiritual recalibration happening. The energy between you and another person, or even between you and your true purpose, is aligning silently. You might be dreaming about them more frequently. You might feel emotional for no reason. Or you might suddenly feel the urge to revisit certain places, reread old messages, or listen to music that once meant something. These are not coincidences. They are part of the subtle awakening. The preparation doesn't always look like progress, but it is. These emotional echoes are clues. They're breadcrumbs leading you towards something meaningful, something intentional. One of the hardest parts about waiting for a reunion is resisting the urge to force it. We want to reach out. We want to fix what broke. We want closure or reconnection now, because the longing becomes loud. But divine timing isn't rushed. If you interfere too soon, you might collide with someone who isn't ready. Or worse, you might invite in a version of the story that's not mature enough to withstand the journey. The reunion God is preparing doesn't need your urgency. It needs your trust. When it's time, it will unfold naturally. No pushing, no chasing. Just flow. There are seasons when it seems like everything is falling apart. But sometimes, things have to fall apart before they can come back together the right way. A divine reunion isn't just about bringing two people together. It's about bringing two people back whole. That takes time. That takes growth. That takes divine intervention. You don't need to know how or when. You just need to stay in alignment with what's meant for you. The person on the other side is likely going through their own process of awakening too, even if you can't see it. NWE, underestimate how powerful divine nudges can be. That person may be guided in ways they can't ignore. A message, a dream, an encounter with someone who reminds them of you. It may all be orchestrated to lead them back, but they won't come back out of confusion or loneliness. They'll return with intention, clarity, and a deep understanding of what this connection truly means. Because divine reunions aren't born out of emptiness. They're born from fullness. Two people returning with more to give, not less. Maybe you had to be removed from each other's path for healing to happen. Maybe space was necessary so each of you could see things from a different angle. Maybe if you had stayed, you would have missed the lessons that only solitude can teach. It hurts, yes, but it was never punishment. It was preparation. And the version of love, connection, and truth that awaits you will make that wait feel more than worth it. The reunion won't look like the past. It will feel like home, but it will also feel new, reborn from the ashes of what once was. You'll know it's divine because it will come with peace, not pressure. It will arrive with clarity, not confusion. There will be no need to question intentions, beg for understanding, or compromise your worth. It will feel like something sacred has finally returned, not to fill a void, but to walk beside you in purpose. And you'll see that the time apart wasn't wasted. It was sacred ground. It was the space where your soul remembered its value its beauty, and its strength. NSO, much of this journey is about becoming the version of yourself that your destiny requires. And sometimes, that version doesn't emerge until something or someone is temporarily taken away. But what's taken with love is returned with purpose. What feels like a detour is often divine protection and redirection. You weren't left behind, you were preserved. You weren't forgotten, you were being prepared. And the person or opportunity that's meant to return to you will recognize that light when it arrives. They won't overlook it this time. Don't fear the silence. Don't mistake distance for disconnection. The soul moves in ways we don't always understand. The person who is meant to find their way back to you is walking a road only they can walk right now. And every step they take is leading them closer to the moment when paths align again, not by chance, but by design. You don't need to send reminders. You don't need to beg the universe. You only need to believe that when something is truly meant, it finds a way, every time. NTHE's story isn't over. It's just in a hidden chapter, one that's being written with care, with spirit, with divine hands. You may not be able to read it yet, but soon you'll turn a page and everything will start to make sense. The delay will be understood, the separation will be appreciated, and the reunion will feel like it was always meant to be, because it was. You've come this far not to be abandoned, but to be realigned with what your soul has always known was yours. Let your heart remain open. Let your faith remain steady. Let your energy remain grounded, because something is shifting. A gentle unfolding is taking place. And though you can't see it just yet, the reunion is getting closer, closer than you realize. You may feel like you're walking through life alone right now, but that doesn't mean you're truly alone. You're surrounded by energies, divine cues, and spiritual alignments that are silently guiding you to the moment of reunion. It's not about waiting in passivity, it's about walking in quiet faith. Every step you take in trust sends a ripple through the spiritual atmosphere. The very act of believing that something meaningful is forming out of sight creates space for it to manifest in your life. You are being watched over. Your story is being protected. And the reunion that's meant for you is being delicately wrapped in timing, healing, and divine orchestration. You might not feel ready. In fact, you may doubt whether you're even capable of receiving something that deep, something that lasting. But that's where grace steps in. You don't have to be perfect to be ready. You just need to be open. The reunion coming your way isn't asking you to become someone you're not. It's asking you to return to the truest version of yourself, the one that existed before the disappointments, before the loss, before the fear. God doesn't want you to perform. He wants you to remember. Remember who you are. Remember what love feels like when it's pure. Remember the truth of your heart before it was cracked open. What's happening right now may not be visible, but that doesn't mean it's not powerful. Most of the universe's greatest work is done in silence. Roots form underground long before a tree appears. Stars burn in the dark long before the light reaches your eyes. You are no different. The reunion you long for may still be forming in that silent space, but it is forming. What you sowed in the past with kindness, with faith, with tears, is now sprouting in ways you can't yet detect. The divine is never still. It's always aligning, connecting, correcting. And while you wait, your energy is being molded to meet what's coming. Some reunions don't come until we've learned how to love ourselves first. The absence of another forces us to face ourselves. The loneliness becomes the crucible for clarity. And when the reunion finally comes, it doesn't rescue us. It joins us. It walks with us. That's the difference. The old version of you may have wanted someone to fill a void, but the you that's emerging now is building a life so full of presence, wholeness, and authenticity that anyone returning will be entering a space already lit from within. This is a sacred process. Don't let your impatience turn you away from the transformation that's happening. The person you're waiting for might also be healing, questioning, growing. Their silence isn't always rejection, it's reflection. Their distance isn't always detachment, it's depth. Sometimes people retreat not to forget, but to understand. And sometimes the most divine thing two souls can do is part for a while, only to return with new eyes and open hearts. If that's the path you're on, then trust that it's for a reason. You are being led through a period of shedding, not to lose who you are, but to find the most aligned version of yourself. The reunion that's coming isn't just emotional, it's spiritual. It's meant to support the version of you that's growing now, the one who has boundaries, clarity, vision, and strength. You are not who you were when the chapter first began, so the reunion will not be a repeat. It will be a renewal, a new frequency, a new way of relating. And if it's with someone from your past, it won't be the same storyline. It'll be a new book entirely. When God prepares a reunion, He doesn't just prepare people, He prepares the atmosphere, the surroundings, the inner landscape of the heart. He allows divine timing to unlock doors that were once bolted shut. Conversations that once felt impossible begin to feel natural. The pain that once clouded clarity begins to lift. And when that moment comes, it won't be forced. It'll arrive gently, like the sunrise after a long night. Unexpected but undeniably right. One day you'll wake up and feel the shift. Something will feel lighter. The weight of longing will begin to dissolve. And on that day, or sometime soon after, you may hear from them. Or you may find yourself in a place that brings them back to mind in a way that's different, not desperate, not heavy, but peaceful, grounded, whole. That's how you'll know the energy has changed. That's how you'll feel the reunion coming closer. This moment, right now, is a quiet preparation. You are not waiting in vain. You are participating in the sacred work of faith. And that faith is powerful. It opens spiritual channels, heals timelines, and draws what's meant for you toward you. The kind of reunion God is preparing doesn't come with chaos or confusion. It comes when you've learned to hear the whisper of truth over the noise of the world. It comes when you're ready to receive, not just to need. And when you feel that alignment, you'll recognize the reunion for what it is. Not a return to the old, but a homecoming to the true. NSO, breathe deeply. Rest. Trust the unfolding. There is no need to rush toward what is already headed your way. There is a magnetic pull between souls that are meant to meet again. That pull is working even when nothing seems to be moving. That resonance is singing even when everything feels silent. The universe hears it, God hears it. And the path is clearing, step by step, for the moment you've been sensing. You're not crazy, you're not imagining things. You're just spiritually tuned in. And the more you live from that space, the space of trust, alignment, and quiet belief, the more you'll feel the reunion before it even arrives. It won't come as a surprise. It'll feel like a fulfillment, like something long awaited finally slipping into place. There are reunions being scheduled in the spirit realm before they ever appear on your calendar. The divine doesn't need your awareness to orchestrate what's meant for you, but your faith, your quiet belief in what you cannot yet touch, becomes the bridge between the unseen and the seen. Right now, energies are shifting. Old fears are being dissolved. Hearts are being softened. And you, in your patience and willingness to trust, are preparing not only for someone's return, but for a higher form of connection that honors the growth that has taken place. There is an unspoken agreement between certain souls, a pact made long before you ever met in this life. It says, even if we drift, I will find you again. Even if we change, we will meet when it's time. These are not just words of longing, they are soul promises, and God honors such promises, not by forcing things, but by aligning them at the perfect moment, when both people are ready to embody love in its truest form. You're not just being prepared for a reunion, you're being refined to recognize divine love when it returns to your life. Sometimes, the hardest part is that you can feel it before it's real. You sense it in your body, in your dreams, in your silence. You feel the pull, but there's no proof. That space, between the knowing and the manifestation, is where most people give up. They doubt, they close their hearts, they move on with heaviness instead of hope. But you're not most people. You're tuned in to something deeper. You've already been shown glimpses, symbols, intuitive nudges. Don't turn away from them just because the outside hasn't caught up yet. The outside always catches up when the inside is in alignment. NTHE person you may be waiting for could be waking up in their own time, in their own way. Their process might look messy or even distant. But just because someone doesn't speak about you doesn't mean they don't think about you. Just because you don't see signs of movement doesn't mean their heart isn't stirring. The divine doesn't operate on surface appearances. It moves through the depths, rearranging inner worlds until both souls are ready to reconnect, not with longing, but with purpose. You're being guided to release control, not because what you desire is out of reach, but because it's already in motion. Control blocks the flow, faith opens it. And this isn't about ignoring reality or waiting passively. It's about walking forward with openness, healing yourself in the meantime, and trusting that what's meant for you will arrive with the same intensity with which you're preparing for it. You don't need to pause your life for a reunion. You need to live it fully, beautifully, and truthfully, so that when it arrives, it finds you thriving. And a divine reunion is different from any other. It comes with peace. It comes with synchronicity. It feels like a thread you forgot was even there, being gently pulled until it leads you back to a connection that feels destined. And maybe it's not just one person. Maybe this season is preparing you for a series of reunions, with your soul's calling, with your deepest truth, with friendships that restore your spirit. All of these are orchestrated by divine intelligence, bringing you back to alignment. The truth is, you never really lost what's meant for you. You just experienced the space between chapters. And in that space, growth took root. You shed layers, you released attachments, you remembered your worth. And now, the version of you who is emerging is ready for a reunion that reflects your new level of clarity and compassion. This won't be a reunion born from survival or need. It will be a conscious choice between two people, or between you and the divine call on your life, who see clearly now. You may be asking, how will I know when the reunion is near? It won't be loud. It won't be dramatic. It'll come with a quiet certainty, like a key slipping into the lock it was always meant to open. You'll feel ready, not desperate. You'll feel calm, not chaotic. And everything that used to make you anxious about this person or situation will begin to fade. That's how you'll know the energy has shifted. That's how you'll know the divine has finished the preparation and is now guiding the moment into motion. And in the meantime, continue to rise. Let the waiting be an active part of your journey, not a pause button on your life. Continue to dream, to laugh, to create, to heal. Because the reunion you're preparing for isn't just about reconnection. It's about integration. It's about bringing the new you to the meeting place and honoring everything you've learned in the absence. That's how you ensure that the next chapter doesn't repeat the last one. That's how you walk into divine timing with power and grace. Let go of the timelines. Let go of the pressure. Let go of the stories that say you've missed your chance. The divine doesn't operate on human clocks. It works on soul readiness. And just because you've waited long doesn't mean you've waited in vain. It means the story that's about to unfold is that much more layered, meaningful, and destined. It means that what's coming back isn't just a person. It's a purpose that's been refined in the fire of separation. NSO, keep believing. Not blindly, but bravely. Keep opening your heart. Not to fantasy, but to the kind of love and connection that's rooted in truth. Because when the reunion happens, you'll understand why it had to take this long. You'll see why things didn't work before. You'll finally realize that God wasn't withholding from you. He was waiting for you to be ready to receive something far more sacred than what you thought you wanted. Reunions don't begin the moment someone walks back into your life. They begin the moment your spirit says yes to being open again. That's the real start, the quiet decision to trust, to soften, to release the grip of what didn't work in the past. Most people think the reunion is about two people finding each other again, but it's deeper than that. It's about the reunion of your healed heart with the version of love, connection, or destiny that now matches your growth. You're not waiting for someone to complete you. You're preparing to meet someone, or something, on equal ground, soul to soul, whole to whole, NSO. Much of the divine preparation you're experiencing now is invisible. It's a reprogramming of your energy. It's a release of subconscious beliefs that told you love had to be painful or connection had to be difficult. It's a gentle shift that allows you to receive without fear, to trust without needing control, to feel without second-guessing your worth. This is the energy that will sustain the reunion when it comes. Not fantasy, but truth. Not dependency, but shared wholeness. You're being called to strengthen your internal world, to become the kind of presence that divine timing flows through effortlessly. That means trusting your intuition over your fears. That means saying yes to growth even when it's uncomfortable. And that means refusing to shrink back into old patterns just because something feels familiar. When the reunion arrives, it will require a new you. A version of you that doesn't question your light. A version that knows you are worthy of receiving what mirrors your soul, not your wounds. Maybe right now you're thinking about someone. Maybe a name keeps showing up in your dreams, in songs, in moments of stillness. It could be them. Or it could be the universe using their energy as a symbol, a representation of something you once lost, something you once longed for. Either way, it's not for nothing. Energy always has purpose. The connection may be real, but the timing may not have been right back then. Now, however, the timing is being reshaped by divine will. Let yourself imagine the reunion not as a moment of sudden euphoria, but as a gradual unfolding, a soft return. Two energies slowly orbiting back into the same alignment, naturally, peacefully. One day, their voice won't trigger pain. It'll feel like clarity. One day, your memory won't bring tears. It'll bring a smile. That's the sign of readiness. That's the mark of healing. That's when the divine knows you're prepared to hold what you once had to let go of. Reunions are sacred because they require humility. They ask us to see each other not as who we were, but as who we've become. That means releasing the narratives, the blame, the what-ifs. That means welcoming someone back, without demanding they apologize for every misstep. It doesn't mean there are no boundaries. It means the boundaries are healthy, grounded in love rather than resentment. The reunion God is preparing is layered with grace. It's not about fixing what broke. It's about building something new on higher ground. And maybe it's not about a person at all. Maybe this is about you coming back into alignment with the life path you once strayed from. Maybe God is reuniting you with your forgotten dreams, with your courage, with your joy. Sometimes, the most powerful reunion is the one you have with your purpose. The moment you wake up and feel alive again. Not because someone re-entered your life, but because your soul remembered why you're here. That's a reunion too. And it's one of the most sacred ones of all. You've come through too much to settle for halfway. This reunion won't be partial. It won't be masked. It won't be transactional. It will be complete. It will come with revelation, with tears that cleanse, not confuse, with moments of awe, not anxiety. You'll know it by the way your body relaxes into it, by the way your spirit exhales, because real reunions don't rush in, they unfold in peace, and they confirm what you always knew, that something beautiful was on its way back to you all along. Let go of the questions that haunt your mind. When will it happen? Will they remember me? Do they feel it too? These questions create tension. They close the heart. What you need now is openness, surrender, a belief that what's yours cannot pass you. And if it feels delayed, it's only because it's being designed with care. The divine is meticulous. It doesn't rush masterpieces. It doesn't throw together sacred alignments. It crafts them in perfect, precise sequences. There's a version of you in the near future that is standing in the middle of that reunion, eyes wide with wonder, heart full of gratitude, finally understanding why the detour was necessary, why the waiting had to stretch, why it didn't happen sooner. You'll see the bigger picture then. But for now, you're being asked to walk with a kind of faith that doesn't demand proof. Just presence, just patience, just quiet expectation. NSO, keep your spirit in alignment. Keep your heart open to love, not just from others, but from yourself. Keep walking the path that feels honest, even when it's quiet. Because the reunion is getting closer, and one day, it will feel like turning around and finding the missing part of your story walking toward you. Softly, surely, divinely guided. Some of the most important shifts in your life will happen in silence. Not everything divine comes with a grand announcement. Some of it comes as a whisper, a subtle nudge, a shift in energy, an unexplainable peace that settles in your chest. This is how divine reunions often begin. They don't knock loudly at your door. They appear like morning light through a curtain, soft, certain, and impossible to ignore once you feel it. And if you're feeling that sense of calm without clarity lately, don't disregard it. You're likely feeling the beginning of that spiritual return. Something is moving toward you. Something that left, or that you left, is on its way back. And this time, it's aligned. NTHE reunion isn't just about getting someone back. It's about restoring what was lost in the process. It's about truth being spoken where there was silence. It's about understanding replacing assumption. It's about grace meeting where pain once lived. And it's not only about words exchanged or past hurts addressed. The most powerful reunions happen through presence, the kind where one look says everything that couldn't be said before. The kind of presence where you feel seen, not because you had to explain yourself, but because your energy speaks for you now. You're not waiting in vain. The discomfort, the longing, the dreams that leave you wondering, all of it is a part of the spiritual preparation. There's something you've been becoming through this season. Stronger, softer, clearer, and so has the other person. Don't let the distance trick you into believing nothing is happening. Distance is often where the most powerful transformations occur. In stillness, in solitude, in the spaces where divine work can be done without interference. The absence was not rejection. It was sacred timing at work. In IF, your mind still drifts back to moments that felt unfinished, conversations that never closed, emotions that still swirl. There's a reason. You're not living in the past. You're sensing unfinished energy, but don't confuse that with a need to fix it yourself. That part is not yours to force. Your job isn't to reopen a door that's not yet ready. Your job is to remain open within, to nurture your own soil, so that when the right seed returns, it has a place to take root and grow. This kind of reunion asks for maturity. It asks for you to release fantasy and step into spiritual wisdom. What's returning isn't meant to save you. It's meant to walk beside the empowered, anchored, radiant version of you that has risen through the fire. That's the reunion the divine is preparing. One built on mutual recognition, mutual healing, mutual devotion to doing it differently this time. It's not a redo, it's a resurrection. You may wonder, what if it doesn't happen? What if I'm sensing something that's never going to come? But here's the truth. You wouldn't feel it if it weren't already part of your divine blueprint. The soul doesn't create longing for what isn't possible. The ache you feel is not emptiness. It's a signal, a sacred memory of what is already written, waiting to be fulfilled. And that's why your faith matters. Because the physical timeline may not match your expectation, but the spiritual certainty you carry is the thread that ties you to what's unfolding. Let this be the season where you live without begging the universe for signs. Not because signs aren't powerful, but because your trust is stronger now. You're no longer chasing confirmation. You are becoming confirmation. You are the evidence that something divine is unfolding. And when you operate from that energy, everything that is aligned with you begins to feel drawn back, magnetically, undeniably. Maybe they're not ready today. Maybe they're still learning, still healing. That doesn't mean the reunion won't come. That just means it will be built on a solid foundation. The version of them who returns will not be the one who left, and neither will you. This is the beauty of divine timing. It ensures that the pieces don't return prematurely. It brings things together only when both sides are ready to hold the weight of what they're asking for. Release the need to monitor the journey. You don't need to watch their every move. You don't need to decipher every interaction. You don't need to be on high alert for the slightest sign of return. Your only responsibility is to remain in integrity with yourself. Keep growing, keep showing up, keep honoring your truth. And when the time is right, when the divine blueprint aligns, it will all come together in a way that requires no explanation. You'll feel the reunion before it even begins. And it will feel natural, like breathing, like remembering, like home. That's how you'll know it's real, not by how loudly it announces itself, but by how calmly it enters. You won't have to convince them. They'll already know. You won't have to beg for love. It will already be present. You won't have to revisit every wound. The healing will already be understood. This is the reunion that's coming. This is the story being written in invisible ink right now, on timelines you can't see, in hearts you no longer have access to. But it's real. It's alive. And it's drawing closer with every moment you remain open and grounded. You don't have to fight for what is divinely yours. You don't have to exhaust yourself trying to be seen, heard, or remembered. The person meant to reunite with you already feels the pull, even if they don't know how to name it yet, even if they're not ready to act on it. But one day, that pull will grow stronger than their fear. And when it does, they'll come not because they need you to fix something, but because they finally see what was sacred all along. You are closer now than you've ever been. The energy is shifting, the veil is thinning, and the reunion, once only a whisper in the distance, is approaching with quiet certainty. You can feel it. It's not about clinging to the past or recreating what once was. It's about stepping into something new, something divinely orchestrated, something that has matured through the passage of time and the refinement of spirit. The waiting wasn't wasted. Every tear, every unanswered question, every silent night has been counted. You were never forgotten. You were being made ready. This reunion will not be rooted in illusion. It won't be built on what-ifs or maybes. It will arrive with clarity, with peace, with divine orchestration so flawless that you'll feel, in your deepest knowing, that it was always meant to return, just not before now. There is sacredness in divine delay. When God prepares something, He doesn't rush. He doesn't offer you half-formed healing or almost ready hearts. He waits until the pieces fit perfectly, not because they're identical, but because they've learned how to hold each other with grace. And this reunion is not just about love. It's about alignment. It's about soul recognition. It's about coming back into contact with a person, a calling, a purpose that mirrors back the work you've done on yourself. It's the universe saying, you stayed the course, you honored the unseen, you didn't give up when it was hard to believe. And now, because of that, you're ready to receive something purer, something rooted, something real. You'll see signs in the way your own heart responds. What once triggered you will now pass by without weight. What once made you feel uncertain will now reveal your strength. You'll begin to trust your own peace more than you trust other people's presence. And in that state of inner clarity, the reunion will begin to take shape, not because you chased it, but because you became a match for it. NTHE Divine doesn't return things just to see if you'll cling. It returns them to see if you've grown. The real test isn't about the reunion happening. It's about how you show up when it does. Will you see the person in front of you with new eyes? Will you offer compassion without sacrificing yourself? Will you love from overflow, not from lack? These are the questions that matter now, and you'll know your answers when the moment comes. There's a moment in every journey where the silence begins to speak louder than any noise, where the inner calm becomes more powerful than outside validation. If you're there now, honor it. You're in sacred space. You are standing at the edge of the moment before things shift. And when the divine reunion arrives, it will not come to fix you or complete you. It will come as confirmation that the journey, the loss, the healing, it all had a purpose. They will come back not out of nostalgia, but out of knowing. They will come back not because they need you, but because they choose you fully, freely, and finally. And you'll receive them not because you are waiting to be rescued, but because your spirit recognizes the timing is right, the wounds are healed, and the connection is aligned with your present, not just your past. This moment may still be forming, but it's no longer far away, and when it happens, you won't question it. The conversations will feel different, the energy will feel grounded, and your intuition will be steady, not shaken. You won't have to search for meaning. It will be written in the way they look at you, the way they speak your name, the way everything that was once unsaid finally finds its voice. And until then, hold steady. Keep walking your path. Keep tending to your soul. You don't need to chase. You only need to remain in alignment. What's meant to reunite with you will never lose its way. Even if it wanders, even if it forgets, even if it takes longer than you imagined. The divine knows how to restore what's been divided. It knows how to guide two energies back into orbit, and it knows the perfect time. NSO, breathe, release the grip, and trust that the reunion God is preparing is not a fantasy. It is a divine fulfillment, one that has been slowly, quietly, tenderly aligning itself with your becoming. You don't see it yet, but it's already reaching for you. And when it arrives, you'll remember this moment, the waiting, the trusting, the surrendering, and you'll smile, knowing it all led you exactly here.